Hello everyone, and welcome to the underground. Today we have a special event for you, and I'm excited to present all the different amazing speakers we brought for you today. But let's start the event. My name is Amit Chilo, and I'm managing our wonderful community alongside our amazing team of volunteers and supporters. I am honored to welcome you all today. Before we will dive in with today's guests, I would like to briefly introduce you to our community, mostly for the people who are first timers. We are the Web3 Devs Underground. We're a community of developers and builders founded on open source values by Shauli Rejwan and Roy Osherov. Since our inception about 4 years ago, we have consistently hosted in-person and online events, bringing together some of the brightest technical minds in the space. We're committed to delivering top-tier technical content to the global Web3 community, and we're thrilled to have you all with us today. To stay in the loop for future events and updates, please join our main group on Telegram, where all the important stuff is happening. And I encourage you to follow and subscribe to all our platforms. We are live on Luma, Meetup.com, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, and soon more. You can find everything on our website at web3devs.org or by scanning the QR code on the top of the screen. And I would like to extend a special thanks to our community sponsor, MasterKey VC, an early-stage venture capital firm focused on infrastructure and deep tech across the Web3 ecosystem. With a team of 16 world-class cryptographers and several technical experts, led by our managing partner, Shauli Rejwan, MasterKey operates across all major crypto hubs. And now, without further ado, I would like to start our event for today and invite our speakers to the stage. So just a sec. Hello, everyone. Great to have you guys. And good to see you, Shauli.
Good to see you, Amit. How are you doing today?
Well, good. Well, I'm excited for today, but why don't you start with like briefing us a little bit about what you're going to talk about today, what we're going to cover, and maybe a few words about each of you. So, Shauli, you want to start? Or maybe
Yeah,
you can
sure.
be last.
No, sorry, I had like another place that it's like it jumped and I heard like from
Yeah, no
multiple
worries.
different windows. It was like, yeah, I'm here. So what's up, guys? Hey, Boaz. Hey, Avishai. Thank you for
Hey,
joining. Hey,
Shauli.
Amit.
Sure.
Awesome to see you. Thank you all
I
for
just
organizing it.
sorry for interrupting.
Um,
I still hear it like with a huge echo.
We
Is
can
it?
hear you really like not as strong, Avishai. Maybe
Oh,
if you
okay.
can.
Let me fix it. Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
I
Thank you.
also hear the echo.
Yeah, I can hear you well, Shauli. But by
Yeah.
the way, guys, we
Uh,
can receive all your comments from home. So feel free if you want to comment on YouTube or X, we're gonna see it here, and we can ask questions on the screen. So please join us, and we'll take a minute or two to check that everything is working well. Awesome.
But
In
you
the
hear me
meantime,
well?
Shauli, I can hear you well.
Uh,
Can you hear me,
I,
guys?
yeah, I would say there's like a minor echo coming from somewhere.
Let me check if I can fix that. Just a sec.
I feel like maybe Amit, you have like another window that is open. Yeah. Now there is no echo.
Great, we solved it.
Yeah. Okay, but we lost Amit, so that's it. Guys, issues. The world been shaking the last few days. We found the world found someone brute forced or like the world found a vulnerability in something that used to be the safe haven, ColdCard. Boaz, what's your take? Give us a line on it.
Yeah, I think what's so surprising for a lot of people is the fact that this is a CoinKite product, right? And I think CoinKite is, we all know them from back in the day. I think we all consider them as like an OG company, very outspoken and have been around for a long time and very knowledgeable. Um, and this really seems like a human error mistake, where something was overlooked at some point, and that something is, to be more specifically, there was a fallback in the code, instead of going to the hardware-based random number generator, it fell back into the software-based route, and that's what caused the keys to be generated with not enough entropy, essentially, not enough randomness. And so, users of this product that generated the key with not insufficient entropy essentially were vulnerable to other people, attackers basically generating a seed and being able to sweep their funds. So it's not really a wallet hack. A wallet didn't get hacked, but the seed in which the wallet lives was weak.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my take on it, I guess, for now.
Awesome. No, so like before I want to structure the conversation of today. It's a very broad thing, and I want to kind of like to put a structure to where we're going to take it. And I also want to say to the people who are like listening, first of all, if you still have some assets on ColdCard, there are some things you can do. And let's talk about these steps. Avishay, do you want to walk us through, like, in case someone still have ColdCard, have some assets on it, what you can do and what they should do as soon as possible?
Yeah, so a general thing to do is to transition to a multisig, no matter if you have a ColdCard or other hardware wallet. So this is a general best practice to do. It simply diverse the threat of the attack and the attack surface. So let's say you're using 2 out of 3 multisig, then you can use 3 different hardware wallets, and then there will need to be 2 different attacks on 2 different hardware wallets in order to steal your money. So
one option is, in case I have few ColdCards, to do a multisig between them.
So if you have multiple ColdCards, this is different. So multisig, it's best to do with different vendors, different stacks of wallets. This is the true diversification of the protection, right? If you have 2 ColdCards and the 2 of them are already vulnerable, then you're not safe. I can steal both keys, right? So true diversification is to use different vendors, different stacks, different open sources, source codes.
But the first thing to do now is to move to a safe haven. Boaz, can you walk us through what to do in that case?
Yeah, I would say it's very like case dependent, right? I can imagine that some users that have been part of the self-custody movement are going to leave as a result of this. Like the trust has been broken for some people, and I think some people are going to look for a safe haven back in the ETFs or other mechanisms. But for those of us staying with self-custody, I would back what Avishay is saying. I think, and we're seeing a lot of people talk about this recently, the last couple of days, in X and other places, about going multi-vendor, multi-sig, right? It's not an easy thing to set up for the average person, right? And so I think it depends on your risk profile and everything, but I think a lot has been said about mobile wallets generating safe keys, because at the end of the day, the mobile devices, modern mobile devices, come with a secure element and an ability to generate randomness. And so I think for the most part, a lot of people are going to be safe with mobile-based keys that are generated offline in an offline mobile device. But of course, looking for, I don't think, that we should abandon hardware wallets completely. We shouldn't think of them as a mechanism for storage, but rather for secure signing. They're more of a signing device than a storage device, really. So I think people will continue looking for safe avenues in mobile wallets and hardware wallets alike. but I have to, like, we'll take the opportunity that we have Avishay here that has expertise in MPC, and maybe like we can maybe ask Avishay, do you think MPC plays a certain strength here in securing wallets going forward, and do you think maybe there's an opportunity with the fact that MPC is distributed, that each node can generate entropy independently or using a different entropy source? What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
entropy at MPC?
that's a good question, and one of the alternatives that users of ColdCard had was to like do dice roll, right? Like to roll a dice like 100 times, and then every time you take the number on the dice and input it into the hardware, right? Now there is a distributed way to replace this physical process. So let's say you don't want to trust the entropy or the randomness source from one device, right? Let's say it malformed. Then what does it mean? Every device has some source of true randomness, right? Because our computers sometimes need true randomness, especially for cryptography. When the source of randomness breaks, let's say it always returns zeros, right? Because it's just broken. Then the source of randomness becomes broken, and every time you use cryptography based on the source of randomness, your keys, your cryptographic material becomes very, very weak. Like if it's all zero, then of course it's like no cryptography. Like, so why MPC actually comes to help here? It actually mitigates that problem. What it says is that, okay, now I don't trust my own source of randomness in my computer or my phone or my hardware wallet. I will take randomness from multiple devices and combine them together. This combination usually is just a simple XOR operation, but it doesn't really matter. I will combine different source of randomness at the same to be the source of randomness to my cryptographic work. And now, in order for this process to break, you need all the sources of randomness to be broken. So this is exactly like, I guess the audience already is familiar with MPC wallets, right? So inside MPC wallets, there is a process called DKG, distributed key generation, right? So distributed key generation, this is exactly what it does. It creates a cryptographic key, the signing key in our case, without like by combining a source of randomness from the different parties. But also it gives us some guarantee that none of the parties knows exactly what is this source of randomness. So it gives us both the resilience and like compromise protection. So yeah, so to your answer, yes, MPC has a lot to do here. I didn't mention it before because I think for the general, individual users, MPC solutions are not super accessible as they are for institutions.
Very interesting.
True. Thanks, Avishay.
Yeah, like fully very interesting. So like I just want to make it clear that if a person will take now, let's say I have a cold card and I'm storing there some assets, and I still have these assets, means like the attacker still didn't find my seed. If I'm taking the same seed and put him in a new hardware wallet, I'm basically not doing anything, right? I need to generate new seeds in a new hardware wallet or a cold or hot wallet. Doesn't matter, just like a wallet that gives you the seed. These are like to be at least in the same probability or like the same risk that I was with the cold card. And yeah, Vishai, you definitely recommending on going on multisig. Do you have any platforms? Because like the average Joe, it's not that easy to multi-sig. Do you have any wallets or any specific platforms that you're recommending on using it?
These days, you don't recommend anything.
Too dangerous.
It's a very local,
what they recommended, and like with
very temporary.
degree of confidence, is to use multisig, diverse your protection to different vendors. This is the best protection you can get now.
Ben Kaufman used to have a wallet that was that I can recommend. I'm pretty sure it's still an open source and could be used. Probably someone can run their agent to help them doing it. And if Ben wants people to use it, he's probably gonna tell you what's the prompt. But it's called Keeper, and that had a built-in multi-sig. So like you use Keeper and another hardware wallet or another cold hot wallet that you wanted to use. Boaz, what's your take from it? It's like let's walk us through. It's a very fundamental issue that was found, and Ledger also posted about it that no one really knows how they're generating the seed, and we're like as users are trusting them. What do you think about all this? It's like the randomness is becoming, it's like this is kind of like the very corner, like the very fundamental stones of cryptography, and we're even finding people doing bugs in these layers. So, what we can trust?
Yeah, actually, Shaoli, I have a few slides put together on how people have been talking about entropy generation. So let me talk through those and kind of bring it back to the point that you mentioned on what people should do. So give me a second here.
No worries. Share your screen in the meantime, Boaz. I'll make sure it's here on the screen. Okay. Can you see it?
Okay, so I'm hearing an echo from you, Amit. There you go. Thanks. So a lot of people have been talking about the dice, right? And this user came up with this great meme. Like you have the hardware wallet, you've gone through the effort, you've purchased it, you've etched your seed into steel plates or whatnot. But at the end of the day, what could have saved you something so simple is a dice roll for generating your entropy and your seed. So going with a dice and a hardware wallet is, as strange as it sounds, it could be a legitimate way to go about it. And this is kind of like what it would look like if you found. You've got the many dice, and they form combinations, and then you create a seed out of those combinations. And then the more sophisticated folks have gone ahead and created a quantum random number generator using radioactive decay. So this is a bit on the independent hacker side. Don't expect anyone to do this at home, but there's many ways of going about creating entropy. And I think a very famous common example everyone talks about is the lava lamps hanging in the Cloudflare offices around the world, where they have cameras pointing at these lava lamps to capture the different states and shapes that they're in and to form randomness out of that. And this technique was, of course, invented earlier on in the 90s and popularized through Cloudflare's usage. So that's the entropy presentation on different forms of how people are doing it. So I would say if you have a hardware wallet and you're generating your entropy in a random way, sufficient entropy, and you're signing transactions offline, then for the most part you should be good. But getting to that state takes a lot of effort and sophistication, and it's not for the everyday user. So I think for the everyday user, mobile wallets, multi-sig of some form is probably the answer.
Yeah, I just want to add that all of those sources of entropy that you presented, they are all great, but they wouldn't prevent the incident, right? Because the incident was that they upgraded the software to actually degrade from a true random generation to a pseudo-random generation.
True.
So,
very good point.
What
Very,
it
very good
exactly
point.
mean? No. Stop.
So,
You said something. What it mean?
So, I mean, the bug of ColdCard existed for, from what I heard from 21. Okay, so people were vulnerable from 2021. What they did back then, it was an upgrade to their source code, a PR to the source code that does a lot of things. And one of them was to change the path of randomness generation. And the earlier version was that it used that true random generator that actually takes 256 bits of true random values, true random bits, and they changed it to use a pseudo-random generator instead. And this is the yeah.
What is a pseudo-random?
Pseudo-random generator means that you don't. Okay, so before what's pseudo-random generator? Let's start with what is true random generator. True random generator, its acronym is TRNG. It means that you have some source of randomness. Like I see your space background. So let's say you're monitoring something in space, and from this space sensors you derive some bits that are that look random for all statistical tests. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No one will be able to predict the next bit of the sensor. This is what true random generator means, that no one will be able to predict the next bit that the sensor produces with more than with like better guessing with 50-50%, right? So 50% it will be 0, 50% it will be 1. This is what a true random generator does. Pseudo-random generator, what it does, it takes some value that some small value that may be random and maybe not random. Let's say your name. It takes your name, and then it runs some function on it that the result of the function should look random, should look as random as the result of the true random generator. Okay, so as a human, if you look at those two results from the space sensor and from the pseudo-random generator that simply runs a function on your name, then human will not be able to distinguish. But if you know that the pseudo-random generator runs that function on your name, and then you can actually tell if the result is pseudo-random generator result or true random generator result, because you can enumerate all the names in the world. There are not too many names in the world, right? Like let's say there are trillion names in the world or more than that, but not much more. You can go through all of them one by one and compute the function on each name and see if the result that you got from the pseudo-random generator matches the result that you got from running the function on each name. Good?
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
like
following.
is that a rainbow attack, Avishay?
It's very similar to a rainbow attack. Yeah. So in our case, what happened is that the original source code used a true random generator, which takes 256 random bits. Like all the bits are supposed to be random. Okay, and then it's really difficult to guess what is that randomness. And after they did the upgrade to the source code, they changed it to use a pseudo-random generator And that pseudo-random generator is a function that runs on some specific inputs depending on the device ID and some other parameters. I have some like flow that explains this quite.
Just before that, I have another question that I also see that John is asking. So why they've changed the true random generation to pseudo-random generation? Why we would do that?
So from whatever I read online, it seemed like an accident. It was not like intentional.
It was not something planned.
Human
And do you
error.
see like any engineering decision to put it? Like as an engineer, there are use cases that supporting pseudo-random?
No. This is a bug. Yeah.
Is it a bug
This is
or
not a bug.
like
It's
malicious? I don't know.
There are some benefits of using pseudo-randomness if you are in a testing phase. Maybe you want to reproduce the same key every time, so you'll be able to test things. But in production, there is no reason to use a pseudo-random generator.
Interesting. Okay, understanding that. Let's go to your slide, and Amit, please, you got an echo.
Okay, I'll drop to not bother you, but I'll send you in the chat the questions once we have them. So good luck.
I don't know. Do you see my screen?
Not yet.
I think Amit needs to bring it on stage.
Okay.
It's coming.
Do you see this now?
Now we
There
see
it is. Yeah.
Okay, so this might look frightening, but we'll go through it step by step. So the good path here is path A. Okay, so this is hardware true random generator. This is a hardware chip that produces random bits, and for generating a Bitcoin key, the first thing to do is to generate 256 bits. Okay, so this is the source of everything to generate a Bitcoin key. Those 256 bits are going to some box called conditioning. This is a simple box, which doesn't really matter for now, for this discussion. The result of this function is also 256 bits. Those bits are going to the word encoding box. Word encoding is simply looking at these bits as the words in the
list.
In the seed phrase, right? So people are using 12 words or 24 words. So this box takes the bits that are the output of this box, and just looking at them instead of bits, they are looking at them as the words that we all know.
So you're taking the same key, by the way, the same bits, and you can split them to 24 words or 12, but it's exactly the same bits.
Yeah, exactly the same bit. If you look at the bitwise level, but there is a standard that gave each 11 bits a name, and this name is the word. Okay. Then those words, they are the input of something called key stretching that takes the bits that were generated here, generated here, yeah, and they stretch it by actually it computes some function on them. It computes some hash function 2048 times on this to generate the master key. Okay. Now this step is important because in this step there is. Okay, so before I go to the upper box, this is very simple. We have 256 bits of randomness from the hardware source. They are going to some function which does nothing that we care about right now. Then they are going to the word encoding, which also does nothing, just looking at the bits differently. Then they are going to another function that runs a hash function many times on those bits. And the result of this function runs many times on those bits is the master key. Okay? From this master key, everything, all your keys, all your keys are
future public keys.
Yeah, all your future public keys are derived from this master key. So once you know this master key, you can know everything. Now there is an important step here that hardware wallets and actually standards also mention, is that there is an optional passphrase. You can pick your password and input it to this phase. So this phase will not run only on the bits that were output here. It will take into account your password as well. Okay? So even if all your bits here are known to the attacker, if you use the strong enough password that has 128 bits of randomness, then you are still good, actually. You will not be attacked. Okay? So this is an important step. It
should be mentioned, Avishay, if I could just add, it should be mentioned, I think, on the passphrase bit that if you are using a passphrase, then you need to care to store it at the same level as storing your seeds. So if you lose your passphrase, you obviously can't access your funds. So it's very important to back that up as well.
Right, that's a good point. So the incident of the ColdCard is actually one of the reasons that they added this passphrase. So to mitigate the case where the attacker knows the entire random bits that you generated before. So it gives you another layer of protection. Okay, so this is the good path, right? That the PRNG hardware chip actually works. What actually happened in ColdCard is that this one was, bypassed. Actually, another snippet of code ran, and this is path B. So, Shauli, this is actually explains what is pseudo-random generator with actual parameters. So instead of generating random bits that are true random bits, the device generated 256 bits that are not random from some source of randomness. The result is a function, or like a hash function, on these parameters that you see here. So there was the chip serial number, processor tick counter, clock, the time of the day.
So basically, what are the amount of options? Because let's say when we're talking about, it's definitely shrink the amount of options that like a regular seed is being generated. But can you tell us like what is the proportional? So if I remember correctly, in one like to hit one seed, you need it's a number with 83 zeros, something like that, if I remember correctly.
So even less. So it's written here exactly. So if you look at the parameters, then you see chip serial number. Everyone knows chip serial number because it's public. So it adds no randomness, 0 bits of randomness. Okay. Then you have processor tick counter. This is something you have to guess, right? So processor tick counter is from the time the processor launched until now. It always counts ticks. Ticks is a physical event in the hardware, so it counts ticks. So here you have some number to guess. It gives you 16.3 bits. Then you have the time of the day, which also gives you some more bits of randomness. You have to guess them. And then the subsecond of the current second, right? Which subsecond is it? Another 8 bits. Then the library owns constants. These are some numbers that if you look at the source code in GitHub, these are the numbers, but the source is open source, right? So everyone have them. So there is nothing to guess, actually. You know them for sure. So it gives you 0 bits. So if you sum up all of this, it gives you around 40 bits of randomness. And 40 bits of randomness is nothing for security. Because in order to break this, you need to do an exhaustive search for all those 40 bits, and you can do this one by one. Like it takes you worst case 2 to the power of 40. It's really a low
Okay.
number.
So when we're just like to understand, so when we're talking about the difference between 40 bits to 256 bits, it's not linear, it's exponential. And what are the differences we're talking about? Can you give us a scale between them?
Yeah, the scale is crazy. Like this one gives us 2 to the power of 256 bits, 2 to the power of 256 number of possibilities for this bit, which is if you had to guess them, like it's something that you will never succeed. Like if you
That
had
will take like billions of years, taking in consideration all the amount of computation in the world, right? And 40 bits,
40
what's the
bits.
compute power that I will need to brute force it?
Let's say that a normal computer can do like strong enough computer can do around 2 to the 30 bits of computation, 2 to the 30
An hour?
In a second even. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 2 to the 40 is about 1,000 times of that. So 1,000 seconds, it's like really
Every try. Yeah.
like 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, no, and that you're talking about like on like a personal computer.
Yeah,
If I'm
normal.
running some GPUs, we're talking about seconds, minutes, or definitely the stronger versions. Or fleet, I can try basically all the options and to cover them in few days. Interesting. So you still feel people still have something to do these days? We're talking about like almost a week after it started to roll out. How long is it going to still take until an attacker will try all the possibilities?
So I believe in this this box, attackers already did the exhaustive search and they like checked all the possibilities. But sometimes, many times actually, people are adding passphrase, which mitigates the attack. So passphrase makes the attack harder. Now, what I mentioned before, that passphrase may add up to 128 bits. It's like an optimistic, way to think about it.
Assumption, because you believe that people use the old 8 numbers instead, and some people are sometimes using only 4 numbers, and some people are using 6. And if you're
Yes.
talking 128, you're assuming that a person used all the 8, and they also kind of like maybe even combined it with letters, and you're kind of like taking the broader optimistic option there. It is pretty hard. It's very interesting to know that that the fact that people do put these phrases, it does add a real layer of security. On the other hand, we all understand that if you have an issue with the seed, Boaz, what's your take on it?
I have read one account in the last day or so of a user that used a passphrase and was a victim of the attack. But it turns out that their passphrase was a single word or something like that. So it's, I think, a good lesson in there that you need your passphrase to be sufficient as well. I don't know if that account is true, but it's what I've been reading. And just like another account I've been reading is on top of like the stats that Avishay provided here, someone was able to create a duplicate wallet in 4.7 seconds to find the collision on the M1 Max. So
Wow.
pretty quick.
Wow.
Duplicate wallet on every 1.3 million generations.
Yeah, the
That's
thing
painful.
is that when you run this exhaustive search on all possibilities, you have the blockchain to verify if you found a match, right? You check a possible stream of 40 bits. it gives you, like, you run all this process of functions that I showed. It gives you a key, a master key, like private and public. And now you can check the public key against the Bitcoin blockchain, if it exists there or not. So it gives you an immediate answer if you have someone to attack on Bitcoin.
Interesting. I need to ask you, gents. That's like it's a painful moment. When something like that happened, what people can do these days? Like, how can we utilize? We're talking about AI, everything, and we still see that we believe that people are looking, thousands of eyes are looking on open source. Give us some instructions, what we can do today, how we can utilize AI to help us, for dummies like me that don't know code and don't understand what are the differences. What should I tell Claude to do to build more trust in the open source?
Look, I think I think we're in a special moment in history when the AI has an advantage in a certain sense because we haven't fully used it for defenses. As you can see, if products like ColdCards, ColdCard can get hacked with AI, and it hasn't even been scanned with AI properly, it seems, then it's like a special moment in history when, for the first time, we're kind of, I think, behind in terms of getting our defenses up there and having everything in line with how quickly things are moving on the attacker side. But what can we practically do instead of just hanging around and waiting a few years until defenses catch up? I think the practical moves are for people in self-custody to continue to diversify into different wallets and having like this multi-signature and multi-vendor strategy. Although, there's it should be mentioned that ColdCard isn't the only wallet that had this entropy issue. Trust Wallet, CZ was talking about this just yesterday, the other day. Trust Wallet also had this entropy issue. And it's a huge wallet with millions of users. Thankfully, they recovered from that and were able to patch that early on. But what can we as users, with all these bugs happening everywhere, I think multi-vendor strategy is probably reasonable at this point. Avishay?
Yeah, so I think for like really sensitive information or Bitcoin and funds, I think I would request what I call continuous auditing by the most capable AIs. So I've heard this idea that there should be a place where you can see like a panel of AIs, different models that continuously like check source code of a project and all the dependencies of this project. And this will give you more confidence. These days, there are still, the manual auditors and audit firms that take this role and give you the stamp in the end. But it shifts toward, even they are using more and more the AIs to find more delicate issues and findings. Something that I do for my own stuff when I create something, some code base, especially if this code base is open to other users, like colleagues, family, and stuff like that, is that I always ask the AI to take the best skill for security audit that it can find and run it on the source and even on the end-to-end deployment. So I always do this no matter what I develop. So I think this is another practice.
Yeah, but here I'm saying something else. It's like in the end of the day, and I'm not really sure that what is the capabilities for AI to do it, or like probably it's capable, but you need like to be more advanced user to be able to do something like learning in that case that it was not a bug in the software, it was in the architecture. That basically, as you said, they used the wrong randomness, and it's not really sure that the person or like the team that were involved there that actually understood what is that cryptography. They used a black box and just connected that black box, right? It's like it's not something that they developed internally. And people are doing these type of things, and we're talking about self-custodian. Yesterday was another event that was published yesterday or 2 days ago about another people that were kidnapped in France for 72 hours or something like that. Their Bitcoin or their digital assets got stolen. Um, is it worth it? What's going on? It's like what's happening in this that stress test that is happening around the industry?
We have to, as bad as it is, we should also remember that it's not only exclusive to crypto. Issues happen in the financial system as well. People get scammed in the normal financial system. I was just remembering the other day, many years ago, when I paid an invoice that was sent to me fraudulently, and I couldn't get it back, and things like that. You the issues are it's not exclusive to crypto. It's just that crypto has certain issues that we're learning from, I think, as an industry and growing, and it's painful it's painful, this growth, but it does lead to better products and better implementations and stronger solutions overall at the end.
I'm with you. I'm with you. When I like thinking about the early days of the wild, wild west when they started using gold, people used to mug each other, and then you started saving with banks, right? So the world found some solution, and of course, people will develop things. And Avishai, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something related to what Boaz said about crypto. I think this is crypto, the entire crypto solutions and projects, they are the canary for the entire industry. Because in crypto, a bug or a vulnerability directly translates to theft
Loss
of
of
funds.
fun.
So this is the best place for attackers to search for such attacks.
Yeah, no, it's true to all of the industry. By the way, you can see also the amount of cyber attacks on banks. They went dramatically lower since crypto ecosystem exists. Exactly as you say, when you're hacking into the system or you being able to go in, you go directly to the gold. By the way, you showed today what was the track of the hacker or the attacker. Do you want to go over it?
Yeah, I do have that. Yeah, we can take a
So
look at
that's
it.
pretty fascinating, right? It's like we saw that he was doing some exchanges. He converted Bitcoin to Ethereum, or like walk us through what a person did with all these Bitcoins.
Amit, if you can bring our slide to the stage, that'd be okay. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with what happened in the timeline of the attack. So as Avishai mentioned earlier, it actually started in 2021 when the bug was born into the code base. In May 2025, a core dev, James O'Byrne, hope I'm saying that right, flags the issue, and in just now a couple of weeks ago, the block engineering team kind of raised the flag and disclosed it to ColdCards and made it more public. And then just in the 31st of July, the sweeps started happening, and I think we crossed 100 million a couple of days later, just as the CoinKite was shipping out the fix. And then losses continued to happen throughout, and then I think what's interesting is just like yesterday or today, I've been reading that copycats have been starting to pile on. So they've realized that the vulnerability there might be some still space to search for seeds that haven't been found, or maybe passphrases that haven't been tried. But as you were saying, Shirley, what's interesting to see is that the actor probably swept everything in advance and researched which wallets were worthwhile to sweep first, because Chainalysis provided a chart here where we could see that the highest value wallets were swept first, and then lower value wallets swept later on.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is the
So if I understand
sweepers, the
correctly, they
copycats.
basically gained access to all these wallets before they started to drawing all of them together.
Yeah, it seems like they were prepared and did some analysis
Interesting.
first before the sweeping.
What's the timeline? I find it very hard to see here the times. So it's like in 45, these are like 5-minute gaps, right? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
So most of these transactions went even the same block, and they
Super
waited in
quick. Yeah.
the mempool. And interesting. Do you know what's the average fees, or like what other things we can learn about that?
I don't have stats on that, but I
Yeah.
did read somewhere that they were using replaced by fee transactions, and I think one user was able to.
Oh, really? To save himself.
Yes, they
Was it
were
was
able to kind of like trick the hacker by sending a transaction to themselves with a higher fee and utilizing the
yeah,
replaced by fee, which is a
yeah.
funny incident.
No, that's the kind of like the only thing you can do in that situation. It's to front run from your own wallet, because in this case someone else gained the seed. Yeah, just for the audience, for the people who don't know about that, in case you have the same seed implemented in two wallets at the same time, and both wallets are sending transactions to the network, the one with the higher fee probably going to be taken first, and that's why their transaction will be added to the block first, and that's how one can front run the other. Interesting. Very interesting data. So you guys thinking that it's not going to take much longer, or like the end of cold card hack is behind us? We're not going to hear many more wallets being drawn in the next few weeks or months, right?
Yeah, I believe it will be quickly diminish. Yeah, I think the honeypot was already taken.
Yeah, I think what's left is surely probably the folks that haven't found out that they've been hacked yet. The people that are not so close to what's happening in crypto, or have forgot about their cold card, or on vacation or something, and they're gonna come back in a couple of weeks, or maybe like later on this year, and realize that something happened. So I think that's still probably the hack is behind us, but the victims are still TBD.
Do you guys
Okay.
know what was the distribution of cold card in our communities? Like, for example, in Israel, because I don't know anyone with cold card.
Yeah, I did see a channel. So in the Chainalysis thread, they have some more charts and graphs which are really interesting. I should have included them, but I did see a kind of a global map distribution, and it was concentrated in Canada, US, and I think it was Australia that stood out. I didn't see any dots on Israel.
I'm personally quite familiar with Vue. And it's pretty interesting to know how they are doing it, if it's based on like where they send it, or where they see the transaction coming from, like the closest node. Because people are like, usually when people are using cold storage or something so advanced as a cold card, they usually buy it in cash, or they buy it in Bitcoin in one of the events, and they don't really expose all of their details, and some of them are even running their own node that is under Tor, so you can't really find their real location. I would say that from what I know in the Bitcoin community, people liked it. People really like the concept. They were that two devices. It looks like kind of like an old calculator or something that people don't really use. So like the device, people like it. To tell you how popular was, I think I saw the same map. There were about 5,000 something people in Canada that got affected. Um, it's very interesting to know. The company is existing for 3 years. They're pretty embedded in the community. Um, but again, it's kind of like an edge project, right? It's like they don't support other currencies. So like people are into crypto and not only Bitcoin. Usually will choose Ledger or other wallets.
Yeah.
Sorry, my cat is going crazy here. Yeah, so that's all the things that I had. Do you guys have anything else you want to add, or I'm looking for if there are questions in any one of our live streams?
I see there is one question.
Pull it.
Yeah, so someone asks, is there a reason to worry if you're using Ledger or another cold wallet, or how can I know if I'm protected?
You want to take it?
Yeah, so I think we answered it in the beginning of this call. So I think, as I mentioned before, you don't know for sure. Security is always a claim. Vulnerability is a proof, right? So people will claim they are secure, and you can run as many AIs as you want to audit your code, and it might not find anything on your code, but it doesn't mean that you are 100% secure. It means that anything wasn't found yet. So for the question, am I protected? No one can answer yes. What you can do if you're using any hardware wallet is just to, as I said before, to diversify, use multiple different types of hardware wallets or different types of wallets and stacks and vendors, and use multisig. I think this is the best protection you can get now.
I'm with you. I will say that I really believe that multi-vendor is the solution. Also, if people are not sophisticated enough to do a multi-sig, still, if you kind of like diversify some of your assets, you keeping in Ledger or Trezor or other known hardware wallets, you're still going to be quite safe. I also believe that if you're going to go on the most common best practices, sort of like known wallets and known brands, but in the end of the day, we understand also that it's important to check the code and to ask like someone professional to look on all the very small things, small details. And maybe one day these things will be solved. But until then, attackers will take advantage.
Yeah.
And let's see. Amit said that there are a few more questions. Amit, you want to jump here, back up?
Yeah, no worries. I just read them because for some reason they just got disconnected from the platform. So I'll start with Avishai. If you can put a number on it, if they hand you an MK3 seed and the normal cloud budget, how long until you have the key? I think you already touched this, but
Yeah, I think the MK3 was the version that was most vulnerable. If I'm not wrong, I don't remember exactly the.
Amit, just please mute yourself.
yeah, no worries.
I don't remember the exact version, but I think the MK3 was one of the easiest to compromise. And as I showed, it can, like, the security that you get from it is 40 bits of security, which you can break in a very short time, like 15 minutes. Boaz said that it can take you less than a minute this is what it takes actually.
Okay, and Boaz, like as a self-custody guy, I would say, what would you recommend, at least the people who still believe in self-custody today, like how to do it correctly? Let's say multisig is the obvious solution, but are there any other solutions that you would recommend? Or how would you
It's
approach
hard.
this?
It's hard to recommend solutions at this point in time. But I would say that not putting everything in one basket is probably right. And I think we'll probably see more and more like this trend of diversification probably begin now. Um, uh, Going from multi-sig, multi-vendor is a bit complicated. I don't think there's any good UX for it today, at least that I'm aware of. But I think maybe we'll see more solutions developed in this space as a result of this event. And of course, I'm a big proponent of paper, but it's you can't generate entropy on paper. You need to generate entropy somewhere. Yeah, I'm sorry if it's not a good clean answer saying I recommend X Y Z, but it's more of a philosophy that I'm recommending rather than a specific solution or a vendor.
Okay, awesome. So just one note from each of you before we finish, like what we get, like a short summary from each of you, if you can give us in few words.
Go ahead,
I would say like it's kind of a tragic event for the Bitcoin community, specifically for the Bitcoin community, because it was very heavy on Bitcoin users. I think it was a Bitcoin only wallet, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a tragic event for the company as well. I mean, CoinKite was a long-standing company in the industry with many products and I think really good intentions. And I can't imagine the nightmare that they are living through right now, having to deal with this, and having created, caused so much pain to so many people, which I'm sure was not their intention. So, but of course, we as a community will get better as a result. But it's painful for sure. It's definitely painful.
Yeah, I think it also put some stain on a reputation of the crypto industry for people that are coming from somewhat outside or from the border and inspecting it. We know that these types of vulnerabilities can happen, and I'm sure they will keep happening. Every time something like this happens, we, as a community or the industry in general, are looking on all of the projects at the same vertical or that are solving the same thing and start to audit them like intensively. But there is always something else that we overlooked and will be hacked one day, right? So this is, I believe this will keep happening, and we should not get to, take it too much to our heart. Of course, there are people that got hurt from this, and this is very sad.
I will add to that in the end of the day, it's a test. Like it's very early. Like most of people are in the industry these days, they're still early. It's still very early, and all the mistakes, all the things that we're learning now, they're still way cheaper than what they will be in a few years. When you're looking on Mount Gox that was hacked in 2013, back then it was so much money. Today, if you're counting the same amount of almost million Bitcoin, it's so much more money. So the pain will come. There is more room for it. It's probably will come more if we want or not. I do wish that sometimes these levels will not happen. When one of the painful parts is like when there is the bug in the cryptography, it's also very, very scalable. It's like in all of the units. It's not just like a specific batch that was produced. It's not just like a specific batch that was updated or didn't update for the code. It's something that is just like just like spreading like a fire, and moving really fast. And we saw here the analysis that was shared, and the data that Avishay shared that I was not aware of. And it is a painful situation. I just hope that we will learn from these mistakes and will come with better solutions. And you know, when we were talking, is like you and me, Amit, and we were talking, and we see like other projects, and also Boaz is working in that space. There is a massive room to fix the UX, UI, call it, the way that humans are interacting with wallets and with the blockchain. And it's just another thing that proves that this whole concept of what we're doing now have so much room for opportunities, for innovation, for different use cases, to think outside the box, to try to look on all these uh, uh, um, funnel of changes, or funnel of generation of the keys, and try to innovate there. I really liked your explanation, Avishai. I feel like it was very useful, and people that looked at it probably will gained a lot of knowledge. Thank you, Avishai. Thank you, Boaz.
Thank you,
Amit,
guys.
you're the best. Thank you very much for hosting us. We'll leave you to Locke.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, everyone, and sorry for the echo. I'll fix it for next time. So I hope now that you can all hear me well. Thank you for everyone who joined us today. I would like to thank you for joining to the underground, and encourage you to join us on Telegram, on our group. There you can ask us questions, engage with the community, and take a part. We are the Web3 Devs Underground, and everything we do is always open source, free, and for the community. I was Amit, and thank you again for joining. See you next time.